Hello, comadres, and welcome to the full moon report. We have a second full moon in Aquarius today. Comadres, yes, it is a rarity, but it does happen. So thank you so much for being here. If you're here live, thank you for joining. If you're watching later, thank you for hopping on. Means the world to me that you support these videos and that you really enjoy this space. As always, it is a pleasure to be here in this space, sharing this with you. And we have a very special full moon, and I personally feel that it is a very positive one. And I'm happy to say that because I feel like I come on here and I'm always delivering some kind of intense news. And although on the way over, this moon did cross through Saturn, which is always a hard placement. The moon does not like to be in Saturn. So on the way over, the moon did kind of bring in a funky energy. And I'm hoping that this full moon that happened yesterday morning begins to usher this positivity that it promises, or that at least I see that could bring. So let's begin by discussing things that are Aquarius, right? So it's a very humanitarian sign. Aquarius is very involved with community, society, and it's always thinking of systems to put in place so that we make a deeper social impact, so that we have systems in place that create social movement that work for the people, for community, and in harmony with humanity and humankind. We also can look at that in a personal level as kind of our tribe and who we consider our tribe as we move through life. So this full moon is asking us to take stock of what has led to a shift or a change that is wanting to be solidified. And we had a full moon in Aquarius, and we had a new moon in Leo, and now here we are at a full moon in Aquarius again. So think for a moment and see if you can bring up some of the themes that were going on during that full moon in Aquarius, that last full moon in Aquarius, and what has graduated from then. What has moved through fruition from then, or what has shown itself or revealed itself that either needs to go or that can stay, that wants to be part of where you're moving forward. So moving into this full moon didn't feel so good. And I explained why at the beginning of this video. But what were some of the things that came up as you were watching collectively things that weren't so fun? The moon crossed Saturn, and as it's making its way into its illumination, it gave us a sense of maybe hopelessness, in fact, as we watched what was going on around the world, or maybe as close as some of our personal lives. We may have asked, what the hell is this all for? Where is this going to end? Like what is it going to bring it into harmony and balance? And what I mean is a lot of things that are going on, collectively. And, we've seen an acceleration of Saturnian themes, which are restriction, control, agendas. Whether that be for our best or not, that's really up to you. That's a thing that is a personal outlook. And that's not for me to say or to lead you in any direction. The only way I lead you is to your sovereign self, to make your personal empowered choices. And what does that take for us to ask ourselves the hard questions sometimes, and maybe for us to move into deep, deep introspection. So if that is what this full moon is asking you to do, calling you to do, it might be because there are certain things that just are played out, things that have run their course and need to go, and they're no longer necessary for the narrative that you want to move forward in. So what are those things if they are coming up? And we hear a lot these days of standing in your truth and standing in your truth. And yes, Aquarius is about standing in your truth and freedom. It is also about society. It is also about humanity. It is also about community. So we're looking to stand in our truth, dictated by what our sovereign choices are, our sovereign feelings, what we're feeling inside, the way that we feel about certain things. But be very aware of those that are trying to tell you what that is, where they're trying to nudge you in certain directions, whichever way that is. Because right now it's like you're getting it from all ends of what it is that you need to be doing, how you need to be doing it, what the right thing for you to do is, what the wrong thing for you to do is. And it's coming from every opinion in every direction. And it really takes a lot of clarity to stand in your truth and whatever that is and make your choices. So this full moon is promising us that kind of uplifting clarity. It's moved through the last full moon, right? And now it has culminated here. What does that look like for you? What has been revealed? Where are you feeling? You know, Jupiter is in conjunction with this moon, and it is amplifying, it is expanding whatever these themes, however these themes are coming up for you. And it is opposing the moon, because every full moon is an opposition to the sun, is reflecting the light of the sun. And in this illumination, what are you taking with you that you've learned? And I want you guys to write that down, because whatever you have learned, Jupiter is supporting that growth. It is expanding that growth. It is helping you move forward into that growth. And when things are revealed to you, how are you personally taking them in so that you can move and stand in your truth and deciding how to move forward together? We must remember that we are a collective. Keep moving towards the center. Move towards the unity of that collective, because it is the only way that we could navigate these waters in a less radical way. If you find yourself thinking radically about anything, how do you move towards the center of that? What emotion is coming up that then you can maybe not counteract, but what is the word I'm looking for? Like, transcend or transmute, right? If it's coming up in a way where it is blocking you from something, how are you moving through that? How are you transmuting? What are you saying to yourself? What is the narrative that is going on, and how can that story change? Because standing in your truth takes all these things. It's not just following whatever people are saying on social media or in the news or what your friend says. All those things are fine, and all these truths can exist at the same time, but that doesn't mean that necessarily they have to all resonate with you. And that's okay. So, once we move out of those once that moon passed those Saturnian energies and is now moving into the illumination of a full moon, or moved yesterday into the illumination of a full moon in Aquarius, it is more of an optimism, and it's more of a hope that is moving through onto the planet. It is more of a benefic energy rather than a malefic energy, which is Saturn. So, how is that moving for you? How is that feeling for you? Have you come to certain decisions that just feel right? Now, communication can be a little bit funky. Like, if you're still like, I don't know, Marlene, I don't know what that is. I'm still a little bit confused. Well, there is a Mars Mercury conjunction that is opposing Neptune. And what that means is that Mercury, communication, Mars, aggressive, planet of war, planet of action, and then opposing Neptune, which is kind of delusional and illusional and spiritual and no boundaries and kind of endless. And it you might be knowing what you feel, but you might be having a hard time communicating it. You might be having a hard time saying it. Guess what? You don't have to. You can move into quietude. You can move into introspection. And that might be the right thing to do. There's a lot of nervous energy on the planet right now. You can catch any kind of fear, you know, they're a dime a dozen out there. You know what I mean? Just hop on into the first fear train you can find if that's what you want to do, because they're available, you know. But the more, or I feel, the more we move away from those distractions, the more that we take it in a way where we can then process it. If there's anything that's bringing you too much anxiety, maybe some of these things need to be let go. Maybe what's been revealed is that certain friends don't make you feel good, or that you need to quit TV, or you're eating too much sugar, or you know, that's dropping you in the middle of the day and affecting the way that you feel, or that your body, you need to start doing more exercise, or that you need to have a hard conversation with a friend. Whatever is being revealed, how are you moving towards creating the right community around you, the right tribe around you? Because we may not be able to affect what's going on far away from us, and that may be making us feel hopeless, but we can affect the community that we have around us. We can love the people around us. We can choose to bring positivity into whatever situation is bringing you down, by maybe just looking at it from a different standpoint, or reaching out to your community, your comadre, and asking, hey, I'm having a blind spot here. What do I do? But allow it all to come in during this full moon and observe. Man, what, you know, let me look back. If you have journals, like, look back and be like, what was happening during July? I think it was July 23rd that the full moon was in Aquarius. What was going on throughout that time? What has come full circle, or maybe what has come through during that time that has now changed your perspective from what that looked like? Or maybe what has reinforced that the things that happened then need to be solidified now? And then really use, you know, once the moon comes into illumination, then it begins to, I believe it's wane, if I get it right, because I always get this confused, wax or wane, but the light of the moon begins to decrease. I believe that's waning, and whoever can put it in the chat if you do know, or if I need to be corrected. But that decrease of light helps us to continue to release those things that we've decided to release on the full moon. And this is a good one to let it go. The friend, the job, the situation. Thank you, Rachel Wayne. The anything that's not working. Whatever isn't working, whatever is not supporting that future vision, whatever is not uplifting and bringing clarity to that space you're moving to. And then really, you know, continue to gain that clarity. until the new moon that's coming next, which will be in Virgo. As the sun is moving into Virgo, we're going to start feeling a little bit more organized. We're going to get a little bit more earthy. We're going to have a chance to really solidify and implement the changes that we have desired. Virgo helps you. Virgo helps you work. Virgo helps you focus. So the time is now to let anything go that really doesn't work. And I'm being serious. Like whatever's not working, don't think about it anymore. If you've been doubting it, then just decide yes or no, and then move from that space. Trust your choices. And if you don't, because you're in a mental state where you can't just trust your decision making, then call a comadre, call a friend, use a soundboard. Sometimes when we say things out loud, it helps us to just hear ourselves. So reach out to that community, because the time is now to really move forward into whatever it is that's making you really happy. Because we need to be happy. Like we need to be in a state of joy if we want to create any kind of change, because everything there is out there is fear. So the change starts with you, and the days you're not happy, feel the feels, get the support that you need, self-care, nourish, learn the lessons, and then move towards a state of joy again. And this is what Aquarius is showing us. We can be happy, we can be free, and we can all move there together. So I hope that you feel inspired. I hope that you feel joyous under the light of this new moon. I hope that you let things go under this new moon, full moon, in gratitude. Remember, when you're letting things go, bring gratitude into the space, because it is these things that got you to this place, sometimes to survive. So as you're letting them go, feel gratitude in your heart, and then fill those spaces with light. Don't forget that part. Don't leave those spaces empty that you've now purged. Fill them with light, fill them with joy, fill them with honoring yourself and acknowledging yourself for making the decision, for moving boldly, for declaring to the universe, for empowering yourself. Okay? I love you so, so much. Big, big hug from my heart to yours. I hope that this information serves you well, and I will see you in the new moon in Virgo. As always, if you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm here to help and support. Take care, comadre. See you soon.